My name is Anna. I am 28 years old. I live in a small apartment above a laundromat. 3 years ago, I had the worst week of my life. I had just lost my job at the accounting firm. My landlord raised my rent the same week. My boyfriend at the time decided to leave. He packed his bags on a Tuesday morning. I remember standing in the empty apartment alone. I did not cry right away. I just stared at the wall for a long time. That Friday, I walked to a small coffee shop near my building. I had exactly $4 in my wallet. I ordered the cheapest coffee on the menu. My hands were shaking when I reached for my card. The card was declined. I felt my face turn red with embarrassment. People in line behind me started to whisper. I wanted to disappear into the floor. Then a man stepped forward from the line. He was older, maybe 60 years old. He wore a simple gray coat and kind eyes. He told the cashier, "I will pay for her coffee." I turned to him, confused and embarrassed. I told him he did not have to do that. He smiled gently and said, "I know, I want to." He paid the $2 without another word. I thanked him quietly, my voice breaking. He nodded and said, "Bad days do not last forever." Then he walked to a table by the window. I stood there, holding my coffee, feeling strange. Something about his kindness cracked something open in me. I finally let myself cry, right there in the shop. I did not cry from sadness alone. I cried because a stranger had noticed me. I sat down at a table near the door. I watched him read his newspaper slowly. He never looked at me again, never asked for thanks. He finished his coffee and stood up to leave. Before he left, he looked back and smiled once more. Then he walked out into the cold morning air. I never learned his name. I never saw him again after that day. But something in me had changed completely. I sat there thinking about his small act of kindness. $2 meant nothing to him, probably, but to me, it meant everything that day. It reminded me that people can still be gentle. It reminded me that I was not invisible. I finished my coffee slowly, feeling lighter somehow. I walked home with a strange new energy. That night, I could not stop thinking about him. I wondered what made him help a stranger. I decided I wanted to feel that way too. The next morning, I woke up with a small plan. I walked to the same coffee shop again. I stood in line and waited quietly. A young mother was ahead of me with 2 children. She looked tired, counting coins in her hand. I stepped forward and paid for her coffee. She looked at me surprised and grateful. I simply said, "Someone did this for me once." She smiled and thanked me before walking away. My heart felt full in a way I did not expect. From that day, I made it a small habit. Once a week, I paid for a stranger's coffee. Sometimes it was an exhausted nurse after a night shift. Sometimes it was a student studying for exams. Sometimes it was an old man sitting alone. Each time, I saw their face soften with surprise. Each time, I felt closer to that morning 3 years ago. Months passed, and my life slowly changed direction. I found a new job, better than the last one. I made new friends who felt like family. I healed from the heartbreak, piece by piece. But I never forgot that stranger in the gray coat. I still think about him sometimes, even now. I wonder if he knows what he started. One small act rippled into hundreds of small acts. Every coffee I bought carried his kindness forward. I learned something important that year. Kindness does not need to be big to matter. A single small gesture can change someone's entire day. It can even change the direction of someone's life. You never know what someone is carrying inside them. A stranger's smile can be someone's turning point. So now, when I see someone struggling, I remember him. I remember the man who paid for my coffee, and I try to be that stranger for someone else.